Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and today I want to talk about things that Star Trek TNG predicted about our future, the future of humanity. Obviously, a lot of technological things that the show predicted actually did come true. For example, touch screens and the data pads. And in Deep Space Nine, we saw that people can use their thumbprint as their signature to pay for stuff, and so we have all of that nowadays as well. So it's really cool and amazing to look back at all these shows, and they show us the stuff that nowadays is kind of common, so we don't even realize. If someone is watching those shows today, he will not even realize this is science fiction. This was science fiction when it aired. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. But now I want to talk about certain things that these shows predicted, which did not yet come true, but we're kind of starting to see the signs that it is going there. For example, the Borg, who are cybernetic beings who are all connected through a computer into a hive mind consciousness, a collective, which hasn't come true yet, but I think we are going there. I think eventually it's probably is going to happen, and we have the first clues of it with the internet, which again didn't exist when they invented the Borg. When those episodes aired, the internet did not yet exist, and yet it's really interesting to see, if we look at how the Borg behave, we kind of see the same pattern with humans who are hooked up on the internet, who are on the internet all day long. Sometimes when I talk to someone who is on his phone on the internet doing something, or chatting with someone on the internet, and you talk with that person in real life and he wouldn't even notice you because he's so busy, he's so invested on his computer or on his cell phone that he wouldn't even react to you right away. And so that always kind of reminds me of the Borg, and so sometimes I would call that person a Borg if he knows Star Trek, and then he would snap out of it. Then he would realize that something is not really right with his behavior if he's so invested into the computer that he starts to ignore things happening in real life. And it can also cause accidents and stuff. If you walk on the street and you look at your cell phone and you stop noticing what's going on around you, it can cause an accident. And so I always laugh when it reminds me of the Borg, because they kind of predicted that as well. Because whenever they went on the Borg ship, the Borg don't even notice that they are there. The Borg are so hooked up into their internet, basically. Their consciousness is all up in the cloud, basically. It's all connected through their cybernetics and their computers, that they don't even notice what's going on in the reality around their bodies, unless you attack them. If you attack them, then they will snap out of it, then they would awake and start doing something. So I really think they kind of predicted the future of humanity, which we're starting to see right now in the way that people are behaving. And also, if you disconnect someone from the internet, he would start to behave as if he's addicted. He has to have the internet right away. He cannot live without it. He's kind of addicted to it. And that's also what we saw with Borg, who got disconnected from the collective. They all reacted in a panic, as if they can't live without it. They're so used to it that now suddenly they're free from it, but they want to go back. They want to get hooked up back into the system because they're so dependent on it. They're so addicted to it, they cannot live without it. And so it also reminds me of the behavior of people nowadays. Whenever, there's some kind of malfunction, the internet is gone or there's no Wi-Fi, and that person is kind of looking for the Wi-Fi. It reminds me of Hugh in the Brig. When they disconnected him, they put up a force field to prevent him from getting the signal from the collective, and then he's kind of looking for it. So it's like a person with a cell phone looking for a signal, and he has no internet and he has to get back on the internet. So it's a really similar kind of behavior. And so I think that show was brilliant in how well it predicted all those things which did not even exist back then. And another fun example I want to talk about, even before they had the Borg, they once had an episode with a species called the Bynars, who are also kind of cybernetic, I guess, almost like a prototype of the Borg idea. But what I find interesting about them, which we didn't really see with the Borg, is how they communicate with each other. First of all, they always are in pairs. They always have, each of them has like a twin, and they always go in pairs. But what I find really interesting is that they also carried some kind of a device which enables them to talk really fast with each other. They basically, I guess, speed up their own thoughts or their own speech when they talk with each other, and it allows them to be more efficient. And so whenever they press on the device, you can kind of hear a very fast talking. You can hear kind of really fast with each other, and then they have to talk normally to the humans. And I realized recently that's something that also kind of came true recently on YouTube, because we now have the option of watching videos at a faster pace. We can watch it at twice the speed, and even on the home computer you can actually watch movies faster than normal. You can accelerate the speed, but I started doing that mostly on YouTube at first, and I kind of got used to it, and so usually I watch a lot of videos at twice the speed. It saves me a lot of time, it makes it more efficient, and my brain kind of adapted to it. And whenever I watch something like that and then I disconnect from the computer into real life and I talk to someone, it seems to me that person is kind of slow, that is talking slowly, because I'm so used to the speed of twice as fast. And I realized that, our brain can adapt to it. Our brain can actually understand this fast paced if you're used to it. And of course, normally people simply cannot talk as quickly, as fast as that. But with technology, we can actually augment that, and we can watch other people's videos much faster, and it will save us time. And suddenly I remember that episode of TNG with the Bynars, in which that's the way they talk with each other. They basically all have these devices, which I guess is linked to their brains as well, and they're able to talk with each other at much faster speed than is physically possible otherwise. And I realized that's also something that Star Trek TNG kind of predicted, because nothing like that existed back when they made this episode. And now we have kind of similar stuff to that. Whenever I watch videos at fast speed and someone else is seeing what I'm watching, and what he hears is kind of he doesn't understand what I'm listening to, because when you're not used to it you wouldn't get it. It would sound like gibberish to you, but if you're into it and you're used to it, you can actually listen to stuff at much faster pace. And so when I thought about that, I realized, it's kind of like the Bynars in Star Trek. So I think that's also something they predicted on the future of humanity. So eventually I do think we are going into that direction, that we're going to turn into kind of the Bynars or the Borg. Hopefully not to such an extreme. Hopefully we are going to stay connected to nature and to real life, and we're not going to be totally lost in technology and cyberspace and all of that. But I'm definitely seeing signs that that's kind of where humanity is going. That kind of behavior of everybody not reacting to real life, not doing anything in real life, just standing around like the Borg always stand, and they're only hooked up to each other through their technology. And addictive, maybe one day we will get to that kind of creepy situation in which people prefer to just be on their devices and not really use their bodies, not really doing sports, not really playing with each other physically, and so it is kind of a creepy idea. So hopefully humanity will know to balance all this out and not to allow people, or kids especially, to get addicted to technology and to be only on their devices all day long and not do anything physical, which would be unhealthy, of course. And I'm not saying we should ban all these devices. I'm not saying we shouldn't use them at all. I'm sure some of them maybe are developing the brain, maybe some of them are good for the brain. So I'm not saying we should totally give up on technology or not use all these devices, which can be very efficient and useful in a lot of situations, but we should definitely kind of maybe have a break from it once in a while, maybe to make sure we're not addicted to it, to make sure that we can still interact in real life normally and all of that. So we should definitely limit it to some degree, but not give up on it, and so we should find the right balance and hopefully not become like the Borg fully. So that's all I had to say about it for today. Let me know what you think, and we can continue the discussion in the comment section below. Check out my playlist if you want to see my reviews and other videos, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.